There is this alternative state of consciousness that's an out-of-body, self-transcendent peak experience. It's the thing meditators and yogis are after, the thing psychedelics shortcut to. It's just a function of consciousness, so if you are conscious, you have the potential to access it. It's not tied to any particular religion, but it's often described as a religious or spiritual experience. It is a 10 out of 10 would recommend kind of experience, with the occasional one-star review from the ones that shortcut using psychedelics and have a bad trip. But in general, it is described as a beautiful, inspiring, uplifting, ineffable encounter with the sublime. The content of these, call them episodes, are different from person to person and time to time, but the qualities, attributes, and outcomes are often shared in common. They've been documented across many bodies of research and text, but my go-to resource has become Abraham Maslow's Appendices in Religions, Values, and Peak Experiences, where he wanted to take a naturalistic approach to understanding it, gathered a multitude of accounts, and then created a list of the attributes of reality that are always shared in common. There's a lot going on with his list of like 25 bullets, so I'll just give you some highlights. Overall, people walk away feeling that life is worth living. The universe is perceived as a unified whole. They experience clarity of mind, often through a more distanced, objective lens. There's a sense of connection, belonging, gratitude, forgiveness, and a general acceptance, even of the evils and suffering in the world. There's also a sense of self-determination in life. They walk away feeling more loving and accepting, making for an increased quality of life and optimism. But what's amazing is that these feelings don't just last through the experience, but well after the event. There are well-documented long-term effects on mental health, meaning experiencing this alternative state of consciousness, even once, has positive long-term psychological outcomes, including a marked decrease in symptoms of anxiety, depression, PTSD, alcohol use disorder, and eating disorders. So much so that psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy is becoming even more widely accepted as a clinical intervention. It's a way of inducing the state of consciousness and then guiding participants through their experiences. Participants in studies show continued improvements in symptoms even 6 to 12 months after treatment and without the negative side effects of psychopharmaceuticals. So with that kind of endorsement, you might think that I believe a peak experience is the goal, that that's the destination. But I don't. I think it's the roadmap. It's tempting to start a meditation practice thinking this enlightenment state is the be all end all, but making it the goal always gets in the way. You spend your time meditating, batting down all of the thoughts that pop up, write yourself off as a bad meditator, and then go on with the rest of your life. Or is that just me? But what I've discovered is that a daily meditation practice is great, and everyone should probably have one. But there are lots of opportunities to incorporate better mental health practices, even with our eyes open. And the most complete list of the therapist recommended activities, perspectives, and practices mirrors many of the outcomes from Maslow's list. So much so that I'm starting to think the field of psychology was developed backwards. We named and defined psychopathologies and then sought ways to address individual symptoms with singular recommendations, which happen to touch on one or two of Maslow's bullets. Like, this person feels out of control, that they're the victim of their life circumstances and experiences, but we see that people who are psychologically well have a strong internal locus of control. So how do we restore that aspect of their mental health? Or this person is suffering from a deep-rooted sense of shame and abandonment. How do we help them feel worthy and belonging? Or psychologically healthy and resilient individuals sure are grateful. What if we recommend a gratitude practice? I'm obviously way oversimplifying here, but we tackle psychology with the same reductionist approach that science always demands. And it's like stumbling across roadside attractions on a road trip without planning around all of the landmarks. What would happen if we had a map? Could we be more efficient at getting to our destination of good mental health? How do we determine if something will be good for mental health and psychological well-being? Well, check that roadmap. How do we promote health, longevity, and even stave off chronic disease? Check that roadmap. If you want to live a long, meaningful, fulfilling life, seek out opportunities to practice at each of these values and perspectives on the list. Contemplate the concepts peak experience teaches. Do activities that are likely to lead to spiritual experience or alternative states of consciousness. Follow the roadmap. Peak experience is defined by being a self-transcendent state. The ego self is gone. So let go of self-doubt, self-consciousness, self-absorption. Engage in selfless acts. Lose yourself in the moment. Forget yourself in a state of flow. Discover that self is an illusion and practice at being no self. Practice at being beyond your body. During peak experience, the orientation association areas of the brain, the part of your brain that tells you where your body ends and everything around you begins, actually turns off. So practice at quieting their demands. Imagine yourself beyond your fingertips. Ground yourself down into the earth. Feel your heart expand and send tendrils of your love out across the ether. Focus your attention so wholly inward that the outside endpoints fade. Practice interoception. Practice being in the emotional and neurophysiological states of peak experience. Seek to be more forgiving, more loving, more grateful, more inclusive, more accepting. Create a sense of belonging for yourself and others. Practice at non-striving contentedness. Let go of judgment of yourself and others. Practice reverence for the beauty and sacredness of your existence. See yourself in and of all things. Experience your emotions from a more detached, objective state, as is taught in cognitive behavioral therapy and acceptance and commitment therapy and many other mindfulness therapies for better emotional regulation. Create space between stimulus and reaction to decide how you want to respond. This is also being the active creator of your reality, another aspect of peak experience. But that's not all. Another key characteristic of a peak experience is a distorted sense of time. Practice transcending the beat of time's drum. Mindfully come entirely into the moment, this moment. There is no time. When you let go of the past, eschew the future, and turn your attention to now. Expand beyond now through time travel made possible by your conscious mind. Contemplate no now, no future, but your dot on the canvas only paintable by the ineffable countless that came before, a continuous composition of unfathomable proportion. You are here because history has been. Contemplate time through times past. Leave the past behind to construct a better future. Build cathedrals you will never worship in. Plant trees whose shade you will never rest in. Vote for the society you will never get to live in. Write the books you couldn't read. Teach the lessons you couldn't be taught. And preserve the nature you couldn't visit, so the next generations may feel the world as you wish to have felt it. Transcend time and feel that. Do activities that distort time without your consent. Flow state distorts one's sense of time. Don't think of the time. Focus on doing. Challenge yourself and engage your skills. Create art that captivates your imagination for hours. Get lost in a book. Pass time in the garden. Run until runner's high carries your feet. Rock climb until it's just you and the stone. Practice concentration, clarity of mind, and taking control. Lose time by finding flow. Time is dilated when we feel awe, so seek to feel it. Stand at the precipice of large and small and lose yourself taking it in. Watch strangers' tiny acts of kindness and be taken aback by how magnanimous humans can be. If peak experience is characterized by feeling one with the universe, then do as the universe does. Be in a state of growth and expansiveness. Create quietness within. Do things that are metaphorically significant. Make meaning, create, be complex, contain multitudes, foster diversity, hold paradox, dance and play and learn about yourself, decay and age with grace, embrace the cyclical nature of life and lean into each phase, each cycle. Plant seeds, gestate ideas, birth projects. Let yesterday you die 1,000 times over. Grieve in loss, celebrate new beginnings, and by all means, become what you are meant to become. Follow the roadmap for better mental health because it makes life worth living, because it is the antidote to suffering. Robert Wright says that spirituality and therapy are two different points on the same spectrum. So, what if instead of studying individual aspects of psychopathologies, we took spirituality as our guide? What would happen if we said, here are all of the perceptions, focus on all of those? Peak experience is what happens when all of these values and perceptions are in their full effect at once. Therapy is asynchronous practice at each. Peak experience gives us the roadmap. If we use that as our starting point, could we come up with better therapies? Could we provide patients and non-patients a better guide for mental health? How quickly and effectively can we decrease symptoms of anxiety and depression and PTSD and substance abuse and eating disorders if we encourage practices across a more complete list? Would we get better health outcomes? Would life be more worth living? I think so. Follow the roadmap and let's see where that road leads us.